Beloved child, breathe with me now and let your breath be a small altar of calm in the midst of urgency. I come close to you as a steady presence, gentle, firm, unafraid, because there is a matter pressing upon your doorstep that deserves your full attention. The words you just read are not meant to frighten, but to awaken. God says, do not delay. You must stop. This message is about the home you are living in, the place that shelters your body and shapes your soul. And time is running out in ways that matter more than mere calendars. Hear me tenderly. The urgency is not panic, but protection. There is wisdom in stopping long enough to see what has been hidden by noise, routine, or denial. You may have been living by rhythms that felt ordinary, the same creaks in the night, the same arguments that cycle like seasons, the same small compromises that seemed harmless at first. Homes are made of more than walls and roofs. They are made of habits, spoken and unspoken agreements, the currency of how you and those you love give and take care. When God calls you to stop, He calls you to witness, to look truthfully at what your daily life has been shaping in you and in those around you. Sometimes homes become slow dangers, an atmosphere of fear, a pattern of neglect, a place where grace is smothered by anger, or where safety is eroded by choices that seem small until they are not. Stopping gives you the power to name what is happening before it becomes the only story you and your children can tell. First, stop the internal minimization that says, it's not that bad. That voice keeps you small and keeps wounds unexamined. Truth begins with naming. If there is tension that never fully resolves, a complaint that turns into bitterness, a secrecy that hollows out trust, say those words aloud softly to yourself. Naming does two things. It brings the hidden into the light, and it disarms the compulsion to outrun the problem with busyness. When you stop and name, you give spirit and sense the chance to collaborate. God's clarity meets your honesty, and together they craft the next right step. Second, stop and evaluate safety. This is practical and spiritual at once. Safety is not only the absence of violence, but the presence of dignity, respect, and the sense that your home is a training ground for courage, not a workshop for compromise. If your home has become a place where fear dictates speech, where patterns of control limit joy, or where substance and anger weave through daily life, these are red threads that must be tended. You are permitted to protect yourself. You are permitted to create distance while you gather facts, counsel, and courage. If there is immediate danger, physical, emotional, or legal, do not measure faith against emergency. Take the steps that preserve life and dignity first. Faith will not be dishonored by prudence. Third, stop and listen to the quiet signs. The Spirit often speaks through small things. Children's silences where laughter used to be, a spouse's withdrawal, recurring arguments about money or time, the way the house smells of something unspoken. Pay attention to the microrhythms. They reveal the macro truths. Keep a small journal for a week. Note the tone of conversations, the times grace is present, the times it is absent. These notes will be your lighthouse when emotions are stormy. Patterns speak with a steady voice if you will only listen. Fourth, stop and examine financial foundations. Homes collapse on slow leaks as often as on sudden storms. Are bills being hidden? Are loans or risky decisions being made in secret? Is debt being normalized as if it were a mere inconveniency? Financial dishonesty stratifies into distrust faster than most other breaches. If money conversations have become battlegrounds, or if you sense financial manipulation, where one person's control of resources shapes another's choices, this is not merely an accounting issue. It is a spiritual and relational one. Protect your future by seeking clear records, by asking for transparency, and by involving trusted financial counsel. Asking for clarity is not accusation, it is stewardship. Fifth, stop and tend to boundaries. Homes thrive when boundaries are tenderly but firmly held. Boundaries teach others how to treat you and how to love what you value. If you have been permissive out of fear of conflict, the cost will be paid in weariness and erosion of self. Practice saying small, steady phrases. I will not be spoken to in that tone. I will not be put in that position. I need time to decide. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They are frames that allow dignity to flourish inside the home. Begin with one small boundary today and honor it consistently. Sixth, stop and call for counsel. You were not meant to carry the entire weight of a household alone. Bring wise people near, elders, a counselor or therapist, a trusted friend who has lived integrity over time, legal counsel if necessary. Help is not a sign of weakness, it is an exercise of wisdom. Ask those you trust to listen without taking sides at first, to help you untangle emotion from fact, to point to resources that can protect you and your loved ones. Sometimes a neutral voice clarifies what love alone cannot untangle. Seventh, stop and forgive what you can, but do not use forgiveness as an excuse to avoid necessary change. Forgiveness is a sacred work that frees your heart, but it is not an invitation to remain in harm's way. Forgive where true repentance is offered and where boundaries are respected. Insist instead on repair where patterns persist. Reconciliation requires evidence of change. You can offer forgiveness and still require new behavior. That is not contradiction, it is maturity. Eighth, stop and make a plan. Urgency without a plan is anxiety. God asks you to stop so you can reframe your steps with intention. What needs immediate attention? What can wait? Who can help in the next 24 hours, the next week, the next month? Create a simple list: safety steps, financial checks, conversations to be held, professionals to contact. Keep the plan small and specific so that movement, not paralysis, follows the realization. Celebrate small steps. They are the scaffolding of courage. Ninth, stop and pray with your feet on the ground. Spiritual clarity often arrives when prayer meets action. Ask for discernment. Show me what is true and give me the courage to act. Listen for that soft assurance that is not a dramatic shout, but a steady alignment with your best judgment. Pair prayer with practical measures. When you feel God's yes, move. When you feel confusion, gather counsel. Spiritual promptings are not opposed to common sense. They partner with it. 10th, stop and remember your children, if you have them, as primary considerations. Children inherit the atmosphere of the home long after circumstances change. Protect their sense of safety and normalcy. If decisions must be made that alter daily life, explain gently in age-appropriate ways. Shield them from adult confessions that burden them with unresolved adult fear. Let their routines, sleep, food, play, remain as anchors even when other things shift. Your presence steadies them more than words ever can. Beloved, do not mistake this call to stop for weakness. Stopping is powerful. It is the act of a leader who refuses to allow the slow erosion of integrity to continue. It is the decision of one who values life and legacy over comfort and avoidance. Make your pause meaningful. Use it to listen, to plan, to protect, and to love well. Time may be moving, but the life you shape now will outlast the next urgent thing. Walk forward with steady feet when you are ready, and know that angels attend to those who choose courage over compromise. Rest now in this first portion of the message. In the next part, one will guide you through specific signs that the house itself needs urgent attention, practical, legal, and spiritual indicators, how to confront them, and the precise prayerful actions to take so you move from reaction into righteous stewardship. Keep your heart open and your feet ready. You are not alone in this. Beloved, breathe and let my words come close like a steady hand. Now we move from naming and stopping into the practical map. What to watch for in the house itself, how to confront the truths you find, in which prayerful actions translate inner clarity into outer protection. This part is for the feet as much as for the heart. Concrete signs, prudent responses, and spiritual practices that keep you anchored as you move from reaction into righteous stewardship. First, notice the house's voice. A home speaks through what it hides. Damp that stains the corners, wiring that sparks in silence, a foundation that settles in ways the floor betrays, pests that have taken up quiet residence. Physical neglect often mirrors relational or financial neglect. If you smell persistent mold, experience unexplained allergies, or see bulging ceilings and cracks that widen each season, these are not merely cosmetic. They are structural warnings. Call in an inspector. Let a neutral professional walk the rooms and list the urgent fixes. Do not delay on safety concerns. The life of those you love is more important than saving a repair bill. Second, watch household rhythms. Are meals inconsistent because someone is often absent? Do utilities flicker because bills are avoided? Is a key door habitually left unlocked or a lock changed without conversation? These mundane patterns reveal the real governance of the home. Map them. Keep a log for 7 days. Who is home when? Who handles which bills? What conversations escalate? And you will see the shape of responsibility. Where roles are secreted or unilateral decisions are made, insist on openness. A household that cannot name its rhythms cannot secure its future. Third, examine financial transparency. Ask for a simple accounting. What money comes in, what goes out, what debts exist, who is responsible for which payments. If the books are hidden or if receipts disappear, that is a spiritual and practical red flag. Request copies of bank statements, loan documents, and titles where appropriate. If you are joined legally to the property, lease, mortgage, joint title, understand exactly what your legal exposure is. If you are unsure of local procedures, seek a lawyer or a trusted legal aid organization. Do not let shame prevent you from asking for clarity. Transparency is not accusatory, it is protective. Fourth, listen to relational temperature. Are voices kinder in public than in private? Do apologies sound like temporary bandages rather than genuine repair? Are children withdrawing from formerly safe patterns? If emotional abuse or controlling behavior shows itself, gaslighting, isolation, threats, treat this as urgent. Safety planning is not defeat, it is wisdom. If there is immediate danger, call local emergency services now. If leaving is necessary but you fear doing so, contact a local shelter, women's helpline, or crisis line for confidential support and planning. You are permitted to prioritize life and dignity over preserving appearances. Fifth, check legal and ownership documents. Who legally owns the house? Is there a clear title? Are there pending legal actions, liens, or mortgages? If someone offers verbal promises about ownership or future deeds, insist on written documentation reviewed by counsel. If you find suspicious signatures, forged documents, or unexplained transfers, preserve originals and take digital photographs. Then bring them to an attorney or a legal aid clinic. Paperwork often decides outcomes. Treat it with reverence. Sixth, confront contractors and hidden costs carefully. When someone suggests quick fixes by informal workers who demand cash, slow down. Insist on written estimates and warranties. Use reputable services. Cheap, quick work often becomes expensive later. Ask for references and verify them. If financial manipulation is part of the household pattern, loans taken in another person's name, assets moved without consent, document dates, amounts, and conversations. This record will become vital if mediation or legal action is required. Seventh, call for mediation when appropriate. Not every conflict should become a courtroom moment. If there is willingness to repair and to speak honestly, invite a neutral mediator, a respected elder, a counselor, or a trained mediator who can hold space and help set agreements that are specific, time-bound, and accountable. Agreements should be written and signed. Vague promises fail. Use mediation to build a plan. Who will pay what? What boundaries are established? What changes must be made for safety and dignity? If promises are broken, the written plan becomes your ally. Eighth, build emergency plans. Identify exits. Keep essential documents in a secured folder. Prepare a small bag with medicines, IDs, and some cash, and memorize or store important numbers in a place you can access without permission. An emergency plan is not for the paranoid. It is for the prepared. Teach children age-appropriate parts of the plan so they feel safe and know what to do if adults are unable to act. Ninth, sustain spiritual practices that steady you. Begin each day with a breath of intention. Place a hand on your chest and say, I will act with wisdom, love, and courage today. Set a short nightly practice. Light a candle. Offer 3 things you saw that day for which you are grateful, and ask for one clear next step. Pray for discernment. Yes, but pair prayer with the small physical acts the prayer nudges you to take: a call, a meeting, a repair, a boundary. The divine prompt will rarely come without a human action attached. 10th, cultivate a support network. You are not meant to navigate this alone. Identify 2 or 3 people who know the basics of your situation and can be called quickly. Keep their numbers where you can reach them. Ask them for specific help, watching the children for an hour, giving a ride to a meeting, holding an agreed upon secret until you are ready to tell others. Community is not simply emotional comfort, it is practical safety. 11th, practice small daily disciplines that rebuild the home's moral architecture. Speak kindly in small matters. Make one intentional meal. Keep one tiny corner of the house tidy each day. Honor bills by placing them in a single folder and reviewing them weekly. These small acts do not fix systemic harms, but they fortify you to take the larger steps you must: conversations, legal moves, repairs, or leaving if necessary. 12th, refuse shame. Shame silences action. If you find yourself apologizing for another's choices or minimizing abuse as not that bad, name it out loud and then refuse the shame's authority. You are worthy of a home that nurtures your soul. Worthiness is not proved by endurance of harm. Finally, hold the long view. Some homes can be healed with courage, repair, and new habits. Others must be left to protect life and legacy. Both responses can be holy. Seek counsel, plan carefully, act with courage, and keep your heart tender to the people involved even as you protect yourself and the vulnerable. Beloved, the call to stop was never meant to trap you in abstinence from action. It was meant to make your action right. Walk these steps with prayer in one hand and common sense in the other. Angels steady your resolve. Wise people guide your steps. The house is a place of forming. Let it form dignity, not despair. You are not alone. In the final part, one will seal this message with prayers to speak when you need courage, exact phrases to say in difficult conversations, and a blessing that will walk with you as you make the next choices. Beloved, come close and breathe deep. This is the closing of what has been given, a settling, a provision of practical words, prayers, and phrases you can carry into the hard conversations and the decisive steps. Let these be both lamp and staff, light to find your way and steadiness to lean on when your legs shake. You have been asked to stop so you might act rightly. Now you will be given the daily language and the practical checklist to act with courage, clarity, and care. When you need courage in the small hours, say these short prayers from the quiet place inside you. They are simple and true. Use them as often as you need. Lord, give me clear eyes and steady hands. Show me what is true. Help me do what is right. Protect the children, protect the vulnerable, and guide my steps away from harm. Fill me with wisdom that I cannot buy and courage I do not yet feel. Strengthen me to act in love and truth. If leaving is needed, make the way clear and keep my feet safe. If staying is right, give me tools to make it healthy. Pray them aloud. Whisper them into your palms. Write one on a small card and carry it. These words will steady breath and sharpen purpose. When you must speak in a difficult moment, whether with a partner, an elder, a neighbor, or an agent of bureaucracy, use these clear, non-escalating phrases. They hold boundaries without breaking relationship. They demand truth without shaming. To open a needed conversation, I need to talk. This is important to me. Can we speak now or schedule a time today? I've noticed some things that concern me. I'd like to hear your perspective and then share mine. When I hear X happening, I feel Y. I'd like us to find a different way forward. To ask for transparency about money or documents. I want to understand our household finances so I can play my part responsibly. May I see the statements and documents for the last 6 months? For the sake of both of us and anyone else affected, I think it's fair to put agreements in writing. Can we do that together? I'm not comfortable making decisions without counsel. I'd like to have an attorney or trusted advisor review this with us. To set concrete boundaries. I will not tolerate being spoken to in that tone. If it continues, I will step away until we can speak respectfully. I am not able to sign anything today. I need 72 hours to review this with counsel. If you continue to make decisions in secret about the home's finances, I will take steps to protect myself and the children. To refuse manipulation or coercion, I will not make a decision under pressure. If you want my help, speak to me honestly. If you insist on secrecy, I will protect myself. I love you, but I also love our children and our future enough to insist on clarity. If safety is at risk and you need to create distance now, I'm leaving for my safety and the children's safety. I will contact you about arrangements through a trusted third party. I need time away to gather counsel and resources. Please respect that boundary. If violence or the threat of violence exists, call local emergency services or your region's domestic violence hotline immediately. Your life and those of your children matter above all else. Do not wait. Here is a short practical checklist to carry with you. Tuck it in your phone notes or print it on a card. It will help you act calmly and in steps instead of reacting in panic. Immediate safety steps. First 24 to 72 hours. If immediate danger, call emergency services now. Take or copy essential documents, IDs, birth certificates, passports, medical records, insurance papers, recent bank statements, titles. Keep them in a safe place or with a trusted friend. Prepare a small emergency bag with clothes for you and the children, medicines, a bit of cash, chargers, and a list of important phone numbers. Tell one trusted person what is happening and ask for a place to go or someone to call if you must leave. Photograph or record anything that documents threats, damage, or financial transactions that concern you. Keep backups off-site. Legal and financial steps. Within the first week, verify ownership. Check the title to the home and mortgages. Know who is legally responsible. Consult a lawyer or legal aid clinic about your rights, especially if your name is on the title, lease, mortgage, or utilities. Ask about restraining orders or emergency protective orders if needed. Freeze or monitor accounts if you suspect financial manipulation. Consider a credit freeze and alerts. Keep a dated log of relevant conversations, short notes with date, time, who was there, and what was said. This will be invaluable. Don't sign anything you do not fully understand. Insist on time to consult counsel. Request everything in writing. Household and practical agreements. Create these in writing when possible, a written plan for shared responsibilities. Who pays what? Who handles which bills? Childcare arrangements. A repair and maintenance schedule with receipts and warranties recorded. A simple family covenant that spells out respectful communication rules and consequences for breaking them. Make it signed and witnessed if possible. If mediation is an option, schedule a mediator who can help create accountable agreements. Written, time-bound steps are more reliable than promises. Emotional and spiritual care. Ongoing, find a counselor or therapist for you and your children if possible. Trauma shows up later if untreated. Liturgy of small anchoring practices. Morning breath prayer, one small act of care each day. A bedtime ritual for children that provides security. A weekly check-in with a trusted friend or mentor where you can process decisions without being rushed. A small notebook where you record 3 small gratitudes daily and 1 next right step. This cultivates perspective and prevents bitterness from growing unchecked. If you are dealing with repairs or dangerous conditions in the home, take these steps. Get a certified inspector to document structural, electrical, plumbing, or mold issues. Keep the written report. Get written estimates from licensed contractors for needed repairs. Avoid cash-only quick fixes. If the home is deemed unsafe by professionals, follow their advice about temporary relocation until repairs are made. If the issue is addiction, infidelity, or repeated betrayal, demand accountability with clarity. If you choose to continue X behavior, I will need to protect the children and myself. Offer help conditionally. Support for recovery that includes counseling, agreed upon treatment plans, and evidence of consistent progress. Protect your finances and legal standing while offering grace that is bounded by action and accountability. When children are involved, remember these essentials. Speak to them honestly, but age appropriately. We are making changes so you can be safe and loved. Keep routines intact where you can. Avoid arguing or adult details in front of them. Children do not need the burdens of adult histories. Reassure them of love and safety repeatedly. Small rituals bring security even when larger contexts change. If reconciliation is possible and safe, design it carefully. Ask for a timeline of measurable changes and proof of those changes. Use mediated sessions to make agreements that are written and reviewed periodically. Make reconciliation contingent upon demonstrated repair, not merely promises.